This virtual festival has been organized by Youth Celebrate Diversity, and the festival is proudly sponsored by Boeing.
Okay, so so would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, audience. My name is Sara Bowen. I have the privilege of leading Boeing's Global Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion team. I've been with the Boeing company for almost 2 years.
Why does Boeing want to sponsor Youth Celebrate Diversity virtual festival?
Well, it's a great cause. It's a wonderful opportunity for young people to come together, to connect over the issues that matter so much to our young people and to future generations, as well as, to become the future leaders around racial equity and inclusion work for the future. This is the kind of thing that Boeing wants to invest in because we see it as really an investment in our future leaders.
Thank you so much. And what made you want to join Boeing?
So there are many reasons. I'll try to be succinct, but when you think about the mission of Boeing, it really grabbed my heart. The mission of Boeing is to connect the world, to protect the world, to explore and to inspire the world. These are things, I still get a chill every time I think about that mission. It's something I really felt like I could connect to because that's what I want to do in my work. I want to connect people. I want to keep people, create an environment where people feel safe. I want people to have the freedom to explore and become their best selves. And I want to inspire people. And so the work I do is very much on an individual and team level versus, the outer reaches of space. But the mission I find really compelling. And then, it's just a great company, has given so many people economic empowerment, invests so smartly in our communities, in our supply chain, trying to really make the world a better place. And that's a kind of mission-driven place I want to be a part of.
That sounds amazing. Why is it so important to companies like Boeing to have an organization building equity, diversity, and inclusion? And why did you decide to join the organization?
I'm sorry, I had trouble hearing you. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So why is it so important for companies like Boeing to have an organization such as Global Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion? And why did you join the organization?
Oh, great. So why is it important for companies like Boeing to have an organization around diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yeah, it's a great question because you think, well, if people are just being good people and doing the right thing, you shouldn't need to have an organization. But the truth is, the systems, the processes, the structures within every organization, those get built up over time by human beings who are imperfect, right? Not that there's anything wrong with those people, but when you have imperfect systems and structures, you need another organization to take a look at those processes, systems, structures, to ensure that there aren't inequities built within them that might create barriers for people. So that's one reason, is you actually need to affirmatively take a look around and ensure that what you're doing is fair and equitable for people, right? You can't just assume that that's going to be the case. And I think we all know that just from looking at our society, right? We know that there are things that are flawed in our society, not because people are bad, but because that just happens due to a variety of factors. So that's one reason I think companies really need it. Another reason is you need a group that is dedicated to creating the kind of inspiration and connection that no other team really squarely has responsibility for, right? Lots of teams within HR and within business, they do that informally, but you do need a team, especially in large organizations, to really focus on how do we bring people together? How do we create a sense of inclusion? How do we create that connection for people who might come from completely different backgrounds and inspire people to want to work together and want to learn from each other? And that's part of what we do too.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for that. And what, in your opinion, is the most prevalent issue in society today and why?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I mean, right, well, today there are so many prevalent issues and so many things that we should all care about, that I know we all do care about. The environment, racial equity, social justice. These are all things that are really important to me, and I know to so many young people. And I think it really comes down to, if I could boil it down to one word, it's unity and connection. I think people are, some of the racial injustice and social injustice we see in our country and in the world, that's because of a lack of connection, a lack of empathy between people, between cultures. Even the way we interact with our environment sometimes, I think, is a lack of connection to the environment, to realizing our impact, our footprint. And I think the more we can educate ourselves and build empathy and connection between each other and between the environments where we live and work, I think the better we will be as individuals and as a people, as a culture.
So then, what steps can people, especially youth, take to tackle issues like environmental issues or social justice issues?
What steps can youth take to tackle some of these issues is the question. One thing I've learned is that the youth of today are so smart and so motivated and so creative. And it's when I spend time with young people that I have my sense of hope really, truly restored. So I would look to youth and say, teach me, tell me what we, the older generations, can and should be doing. But if I were to offer some advice or guidance, I would say, keep educating yourselves on the issues that matter, and try to have an open mind, right? In order to really make advancements, we have to be able to look at an issue from every single angle, because we have to anticipate what the detractors will say. We've got to be able to anticipate that and be able to understand it, understand what motivates the detractors, so that we can make it better together. So I would say, continue to educate yourself on the full scope of every issue that you care about. Work on building allies, right? Create a movement. The way to create a movement is to build allies and bring people along in your mission. And those are really important skills. And then always work on empathy, right? I know for a long time, empathy has been kind of called a soft skill. There's nothing soft about it. This is a survival skill. It's a human leadership skill that everyone needs to be successful and effective in the future. So those are the three things I would say is, really rigorous education, a strong sense of being able to build allies, and then thirdly, continuing to build empathy and connection.
Thank you. And in your opinion, what difference have you noticed or seen Boeing make in your community?
Yeah, well, Boeing, I've been so impressed with the way Boeing invests in communities. Over the past 5 years, Boeing has invested more than $120 million in organizations and institutions to help advance equity, diversity in STEM, and causes that are so important to us and to the communities where we live and work. Many of those investments are really at a local level. It's, in Huntsville, Alabama, there's a Girls Inc. program there that is going to impact 700 girls in developing their STEM education. It's investments in historically Black colleges and universities to increase that pipeline and strengthen the technology of those institutions. It's investing in Chicago public schools. It's investing in advanced minorities in engineering, because we need more people of color in engineering. We need that talent pipeline for the future of engineering to truly be bright. National Black Child Development Institute, right? We've got to make sure that there's health care, there's proper nourishment, that the communities are safe for our young people growing up, because they are our future. So I've seen a lot of impact that the company has made through local investments that are very targeted and thoughtful, to create the kind of safety and inspiration and education that we need for the future.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Those are all of our questions for today, and we really appreciate you taking the
So,
time to talk to us.
fantastic. Well, it was lovely to meet you both, and best of luck with the Youth Diversity Initiative. And I can't wait to hear more about you and from you, and I can't wait to hear where this goes next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.